Anyone else tell me one of these is just we're about to officially start now. Just wanted to say hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is a lot more people than we had last semester, so thank you. I think we're all excited actually. Yeah, that everyone came, a lot of students. So yeah, thank you for coming to our first town hall. I think this to start us off, we can start with an introduction. And we can just go around the room. I guess I can start. So, hello everyone. My name is Alex Miranda. I'm the president of student government on campus. My major is political science, and yeah, I'm just very passionate about advocacy and social justice. And yeah, we'll talk more about that later, but I'll pass it to Michael.
My name is Michael. I'm the vice president of student government here. Been working with everybody since February. Just really excited to have you around. Excited to talk to you about what we've got going on. And Nick.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nick Thomas, and I'm the communications director for the student government. Thanks. Bill back over here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley. I work in Student Life, and I'm the advisor of student government.
And do you mind if we just start in the corner and then just kind of do a category?
My name is Emily Sanchez. My major is biology and a pre-med route. I am the president of SACNAS. I'm also a student employee in Berkshire.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Esqueda, and I am a biology major on a pre-medical route as well. And I'm vice president of the SACNAS organization here.
Okay, my name is Shirley Hernandez, but I go by Shirlita. I am an aerospace major, and I'm kind of looking into going into automotive engineering design. And I am the secretary for the SACNAS student organization.
So
I'm Lazavian. I'm a part of the campus activities board. I'm a business major, and I recently got an interest in the supply chain area and I've been studying that and stuff.
My name's Kat. I'm the secretary for the Standout Student Organization. Currently majoring in pre-biochemistry.
yeah, good.
Start. My name is Mova. I've been 15 years. I think that I'm on the vision of that place.
My name is Steven. It's also my first year and I'm trying to go into healthcare.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Vaughn. I'm going for my culinary arts degree.
I am Matt, I'm going for my culinary art degree.
I'm Blake. My name is Kevin. I'm a sports writer and a news writer.
I'm Jennifer Afton Haywood. I'm the advisor of the student.
And my name's Connor. I'm here to help out for media technologies.
Well, yeah, nice to meet all of you. Seems like we have a good bunch here. But yeah, thank you for genuinely, thank you for all coming. Like just to say last semester, we had maybe 1 or 2 people. So it seems like we have more than 10 or around 10, but thank you. But yeah, we can just start off with a quick icebreaker. I don't know if it'll be quick, but we'll start off with an icebreaker. So Michael, you can gonna lead that for us.
Yeah, so just wanted to ask everybody as you go around what everyone's favorite class this semester has been and why, and then also what's everyone's favorite musical artist or album artist, just to kind of get to know y'all better. So yeah, I guess starting with me, my favorite class I've taken this semester is classical mythology. The professor of that class is phenomenal. If you take any class at GRCC, take classical mythology, he really knows his stuff. So I highly recommend it.
Favorite artist?
I'm seeing Dragon Force this November. So Through the Fire and Flames, hardcore metal, stuff like that.
Is that professor the same one who teaches photography now? Do you remember that there was,
Do you remember his last name?
I don't
think it's
remember his
Like
last name.
Wilkes or,
it's not my class, it's my partner's class. So I'm just saying.
I think,
You
they-
said it was
Wait,
Wilkie
Wilkes Booth?
Winkle, yeah.
Winkle, okay.
Yep, fantastic teacher though, really good.
Yeah, I can go next. So I guess my favorite class this semester, probably Introduction to Political Theory, learning about Plato and Machiavelli right now. So, yeah. Yeah, it's very complex but interesting and relevant. Yeah. Favorite artist and album, I'll say right now, Rosalía and Motomami. Yeah, I've been streaming that for like a whole year. Yeah, it's like everything you see on me is like around that album. Like I have a necklace, I have butterflies. But yeah, that's my favorite.
Nice.
I'm studying marketing and I guess business innovation is my favorite class right now. And the reason for that is that it ties in with my favorite album. My favorite album is American Beauty by the Grateful Dead. And I have a book called Everything I Know About Business I Learned from the Grateful Dead. The most innovative ideas in business. And I asked my professor, we have to do a book review on innovation. And I asked my professor if I could do this book review on this Grateful Dead book and he approved it. So I skyrocketed to my favorite class right away. I get to read a book I want to read for class this semester. That's pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
You want to introduce
Sure.
yourself and then?
Hey everyone, my name is Pablo. I'm a former student government president. Also, I'm part of the Rotary Club, which you also joined. And I'm doing some stuff with Model UN. My favorite class this semester would be anthropology. I never took it before, I didn't know what it was, but it's a study of culture. And it's really fascinating how like basically your environment, like unconsciously, I don't know what the word is, but it affects how you think, without you really thinking about it. I'm still taking the course, so I'll let you know how it goes. And my favorite album, when I was, I haven't listened to much music recently, but when I was growing up, I loved 1989, because me and Taylor Swift were birthday buddies. So yeah, thank you.
What was the first question? Favorite class? My favorite class semester, I'm taking the history of medicine, plague, spells and pills, and that's a really interesting class. It just covers the history of like medicine and disease all the way from like antiquity, like Mesopotamia through close to the modern era. All the textbooks are awesome, which is not something I usually say about class. I really enjoy that class so far. So favorite artist, favorite album, or
Yeah, artist or album.
favorite artist? My favorite artist, it has to be Sufjan Stevens. He's a Michigan-born artist, and I was a sad boy in high school, so I listened to my fair share of hours of his music. So
I love that album. It's like, I think it's my top 10.
what, Carrie Lowell or
Michigan.
Michigan? Yeah.
Sorry.
I'd have to say my favorite class semester has been geography. I started taking a physical geography class and it's been like really interesting to kind of get further into the topic and learn more about like currents and kind of, I don't know, regions, and it kind of shines light on a lot of like supply chain and business things that like go. And I'm not sure if I have a favorite album, but I do listen to a lot of music. I listen to a lot of country and a lot of like rap and stuff as well. And,
Yeah.
just a little bit of everything really. Whatever's good.
I would say my favorite class this semester so far has been biology. It's just really cool, like the most recent lab we did, like we were looking at plant cells, and I just think it's so cool how chemistry ties into it. but what was the other question?
Favorite album
Oh.
artist.
My favorite artist has to be Karol G right now.
Okay.
I really like her recent album.
Love you,
It's
Georgia.
kind of sad that I couldn't go to her concert in Chicago, but I really like her.
My favorite class this semester, I would have to say, is chemistry. I'm not a big fan of chemistry, but I really enjoy my professor. And I love the way he explains everything and it all makes sense. So it's the class that makes most sense to me right now, which is why it's my favorite.
What's the name of the?
Yeah, you have Dr. Brown.
Will Favor. And,
Sorry, girls better.
yeah. I prefer Will, but, and then I just really like understanding how life works on a molecular level. And my favorite artist at the moment, I would have to say is Lana Del Rey. She's what I've been playing in the mornings. So yeah.
My favorite class this semester, I don't know, it's between two, it's between calculus and American cinema. American cinema, because you just watch movies and you review them, and that's all you do. But calculus is, it's really interesting actually today. Our professor, he taught us this like model, it's called the Pascal's triangle. And basically like a pattern in math, and I really love patterns and I love intertwining them with like actual equations and stuff like that. So the fact that I got to learn that today, like I actually really enjoyed that. So
Wow.
yeah, and then I've been listening to a lot of Kali.
Kali?
Kali Uchis.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Okay, I guess I can go.
Yeah.
My name is Tiffany again. I like my class would be certified chef Don, like he puts his own experiences in restaurants. He used to own one, and you would be surprised what you'll learn when ServSafe certified with the health inspections and stuff at the restaurants is your favorite. My favorite band would be Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I like that.
My name is Matt. I'm in ServSafe along with her, but like, we had to do this essay. Most people, like, I had to do an essay just recently about sneezing. And it, you know, how like, if you don't cover your face, whatever, how it got deep. And the whole class was like, whoa, like, didn't think I was gonna get deep on this thing. So, yeah, and my favorite band right now is probably Greta Van Fleet. So, you know, I guess Michigan, so.
My favorite class right now is photography. I've been really enjoying that. And then my favorite band is Greta Van Fleet. I actually just saw them in concert.
My favorite class is logics because it makes you think, and my favorite band is Last Dinosaurs. They're indie. So, yeah. Oh yeah. I think we accidentally skipped through. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite class, but there's two classes I have, it's interesting, psychology and Spanish. And I don't have a favorite band.
Braden, you wanna introduce yourself? And then your favorite?
Braden, favorite class is probably my servicing, computer servicing one. And for my favorite band, I mean, I have a lot, and I feel like it changes all the time.
All right, then we go to the president student of the campus activity board. So do you guys have an idea or an event that you have in mind? Go to Braden. But yeah, thank you everyone for sharing. I know we have a wide taste of music. Like I like Sushan and Cali and Abichota, what was yours? Lana. And then I like all of them. Greta Van Fleet, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, we all have good taste. Yeah. So the next subject is Michael, you can take it over, but he'll explain why he's wearing this wig and clothes.
Dressed up like Uncle Sam today because it's Constitution Day, National Constitution Day. Student government as a student government body recognizes Constitution Day, and we put on a little event for it, to support it, but around campus, basically anywhere where you'd set up meetings, the financial aid office, the library, student life office, the bookstore. There are free constitutions everywhere. We have some here. Pick up a constitution. Knowing your rights is incredibly important, especially if you live in and are a citizen of this country. Lawsuits have been won and lost based on individuals, police organizations, companies violating your constitutional rights. And if that's not a good enough reason to know them, then I don't know what to tell you. It's a good enough reason for me, but every American should know the Constitution. I think it should just be like a requirement, but in support of that, help yourself. And if you have any questions, let me know after the meeting. I'd appreciate hearing what you have to say about that.
Nice. Yeah, well, yeah, our constitutions are over there, our merch is there, but yeah. Happy Constitution Day, everyone. Yeah, here's where the fun begins. So our next topic is the budget proposal, in which every student here is able to vote on. So we're gonna need everyone's input on this. There's a lot of finances. Connor, could you pull it up, please? There we go. All right, yeah, so if everyone just looks at the screen for a moment, we'll explain it further. All right, so this slide is what the budget covers and the distribution of the funds. Well, you'll see it more in depth in the following slides, but yeah, this basically just shows that there are requirements to benefit from this budget. And I'll just read what it says. It says, the activities fee accrued is non-academic and is not meant for instructional use. Instead, these funds are put towards activities, events, and other offerings to contribute to the GRCC student experience and are intended to be co-curricular. So registered student organizations can request allocations for the benefit of the students. So yeah, if any organization wants to host an event or just needs funds in general, you guys would submit allocation requests through Raider Connect. If you guys need help, just let us know like where that is in Raider Connect. But yeah, so once the allocation request is submitted, if it's more than $1,000, it goes through a public vote today. And you'll see that later on today, since we do have a allocation request that is more than $1,000. And if it's lower than $99, it's a personal student government meeting in which we either approve or deny the allocation request. So once the allocation request goes through student government and we review it, we allocate the funds to said organization. So yeah. Yeah, so where this budget comes from, the student activities budget is approved through the student activity fee. You guys might have seen that through your tuition. I think, oh, here it is. It says it's $5 for part-time students and it's $10 for full-time. So I personally pay $10 for student activities fee. Yeah, and these funds provide financial support for campus traditions, a budget for student organizations to request funds from, and the Go CGR program, which lets you see so many things in GR. Yeah,
It's all that stuff. But
Yeah.
if you guys didn't know this, the Go CGR plan allows you to get into a number of museums and zoos and everything for free if you just show your student ID. And if you're an active student on campus, that's something from years ago that we've kept going.
Yeah, and you can get this all for free by just going to Student Life, and I think you guys hand out a card. Yeah, you get a card from Student Life and you guys can go CGR, literally. Yeah, and then also the budget supports paid positions as appointed by Student Life, which includes us, student government, the campus activities board, and the collegiate. And Michael will just explain the budget from last year to just compare it to this year.
Yeah, so this is what we had last year. One of the big differences you'll see from the upcoming budget and what you kind of see this year is that $154,000 rollover revenue. One of the important things coming into this upcoming budget that we kind of need to get in front of students early is that we don't have a large, and we don't have as large of a budget as we had in previous years, primarily because that rollover has been reduced because we came out of COVID, more student organizations have been active, and as a result, less of that money didn't end up get used and more of it ended up getting used, if that makes sense. And so running through that, just I think I'm good. Does anyone have any questions about the last year's budget, or are we just trying to see the new cool stuff? Yeah.
I will say also, the budget is it can change also by enrollment
Yes.
of the college. So if you see numbers lower, that just means that we have a lower amount of enrollment.
Yep. That's also mainly like that student activities fee revenue. A bulk of that is that enrollment fee and that $5 to $10 that you guys pay out when you enroll in GRCC. So with that being said, moving on to our proposal this year, just comparing everything through that first number, the student activities fee, the first two numbers are just the amount of money that we have acquired over this new year. As compared to last year, enrollment was down, so there were less people paying into that fund. So the activities fee revenue was lower. And then our rollover revenue was lower because a lot of that money from last semester ended up getting used and not just recycled, because once again, we got out of COVID. And as we got out of COVID, we were more active as a student body and we spent more money on things. We had the whole cultural festival, more students made events and plans, and we got all of that rolling. The Campus Activities Board allocation, the CAB, their allocation is actually a fixed amount that we don't have any sort of control over. They get about a third of the student activities fee revenue. So that's the $66,000. The reason why you see a $7,333 decrease compared from last semester is just, again, because the tuition was lower and there was less of that 1/3 to allocate to them. Student government allocation was $10,000 and was bumped up to $15,000. The primary reasons for that being proposed is just we wanted to provide food for these events. We wanted to invest more merch into the rebrand because we were Student Alliance and now we're student government. We want to go to more conferences, town halls, board of trustees meetings. That stuff costs money. And another thing that's important to note about that is that prior to COVID, the student government budget was $15,000 to $20,000. And when COVID happened, we reduced our budget because there weren't as many students active on campus. And consequently, we didn't feel the need to we weren't utilizing the budget, so we didn't want to activate it and keep it there when we could just have it in the leftover. So we're trying to increase back up to what we were pre-COVID. The music group allocation, there's no change there. They use about $4,000 every year, so we just decided to give that to them again. Yes.
That's for the ensembles, music ensembles, is that what they?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
The display magazine allocation was decreased from $9,000 to $4,000. The primary reason for that being that the display magazine never utilized all $9,000 of their budget in a given semester. They only ended up using $4,000 to $5,000. So we just decided to equalize them with the music group and the food pantry, and then move those numbers up as we move forward. That being said, The food pantry, we decided to give a $1,000 increase to, primarily because of inflation, the cost of food is rising. Our food pantry provides food and resources to a number of students on campus. And in order to make sure that they still have everything that they require in order to operate, we wanted to give them an extra $1,000. Advisor travel expenses, this is primarily for student advisors for traveling purposes. There was no change to this whatsoever. This is another one of those things that I don't believe we have too much influence over. And we like having it here. Other student government groups have advocated for this money. It's important that when students go out, that advisors have access to this money so that they can travel and supervise and chaperone them effectively. Same budget as last year. The student leaderships awards were $15,000 in previous years, and that was primarily because we held those at off-site locations. But recently, we haven't been spending that much. We've been holding the event on campus to try to get more students involved. So we decided to reduce the budget for the leadership awards by $7,000 just to provide more money into the allocation pool. So that's the reason for the decrease. You shouldn't note, if you're a fan of the student leadership awards, you shouldn't notice a large change because we never used more than 8,000 pretty much. So that money should just get put back into the fund. Homecoming, 10,000, no change. That's all money for the homecoming week and the dance and all that, right? Yeah. Go CGR, that 30,000 is a hard number that we can't change. If we want to continue to provide the service for students, we have to pay the organization that much. So there is no change there. Student leadership compensation, and again, that encompasses the student government, CAB, and the collegiate. All of their members, that's the funding that they get paid out from. No change. We're not increasing anybody's salary. We're not interested in doing that this year. Raider Connect annual fee, in order to upkeep and keep Raider Connect around, we have to pay them a service fee. That was non-negotiable, so there was no change in that. We did decide to add a new budget line for summer activities is what we're calling it. Effectively, this was proposed to us because when we have events during the summer, like the student block party, and when clubs and organizations who are still active want to do things during the summer, we don't actually have a way to pay them out or allocate any funds to them. So rather than just kind of making things work, we wanted to get something on paper and manageable so that organizations who wanted to participate in the block party or wanted to do something over the summer can have a small amount of money to work with so that they don't have to stress about how that's going to affect their budget moving forward in the semester. So that's the only new proposal to the budget. When you add all that up, subtract everything, do all the math, the remaining money we have for allocation requests over the course of the next 2 semesters is $32,000, $32,548.37. That's a $64,000 decrease from last year, which is a lot of money. But again, it's not necessarily that we're spending more. In fact, all things considered, we've stayed about the same. It's just that there's less enrollment, there's less student participation as far as paying into that fund, and there was less rollover because we used more funding last semester than we had the previous semesters. So any questions about that?
Question,
Go.
who oversees the summer activities budget?
Who does that? Would that be in conjunction with Sheena? Yeah, so Sheena handles the finances, if I'm not mistaken, for student life. And just make sure all the money goes to where it's supposed to go. And any of the leftover money moves into the allocation account once more. So she'll be the one overseeing that.
And I do work with like the college's accounting, so some things may look different because I also have to go with what is going on in their world. If that makes sense. So sometimes numbers can look off because they could be behind or ahead sometimes. Just
But I had a, like, would that be something student government takes care of, like, to ensure that there's summer activities? Or who's,
Odds are that the primary way that clubs and organizations reach out to receive access to funding is through student government. So the way that I suspect the pipeline will work is someone emails us and then says like, hey, we're trying to do this thing for summer, or hey, we're trying to get a booth set up for the student block party, but we need like $100 just to get us through. Can you help us out? And then that money, if it's reasonable, would be pulled from that summer activities budget.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have two questions.
Yes.
The first question is for the homecoming, budget, who usually goes and like this in the back and uses those funds?
What do we have on that?
I can answer that. Typically, this is like, the appointed groups from student life, so between CAB, student gov and the collegiate, that's where the funds would be used. I think the past couple of years, they've hosted like a food event, and it is most of that budget for all the students, so you can think back to last year, for those of you who are here. There was a lunch with the new president that they hosted, and that took care of that homecoming budget. I don't know what that'll look like for this year, but it'll be among those clubs to sort it out. There's a larger homecoming committee across the college with other like events, but this is like that student-led initiative for that week.
Okay, and then, my second question too is, you guys said that the student government, budget was bigger, between $15,000 to $20,000. It was before COVID, like, how far before COVID?
Just before COVID.
Just before COVID?
Yeah.
And was that usually this higher enrollment?
Yeah, the money that we use that money to support the food pantry during COVID. So, yeah, I think it was.
So was that before food pantry had their own budget line?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was between $15,000 to $20,000, and they decreased it to $10,000 during COVID. So that those funds could be to support the food pantry since people were in need during COVID. So yeah, we're trying to get out of the COVID era and do more events and go to more conferences and provide food and just basically up our presence. So we're doing the minimum of 15K. Yeah, just to support ourselves better.
And just so like everybody's clear when we say that, none of that money gets paid out to like our salaries or anything like that. All of that money is specifically for events relating to the college, meetings that we go to. What else do I have in my notes here? The student government town halls, so providing food and drinks for the town hall events. And yeah, any other tabling expenses that we might need if we have to order like flyers or a banner or something like that later down the line, it would come out of that budget.
Are there any more questions, concerns?
Yeah. I have a comment. I definitely applaud your efforts, and I love that there was a comparison between the last year's budget and this year's budget.
Yeah.
And I think you I definitely trust your judgment, and I think you are doing the best job that I can do, considering that there's not that much rollover money. So
It was definitely challenging getting all the numbers to kind of line up right, because when we saw how little we had in comparison to last semester and the last budget that we made up, I wasn't there for that one, but we were kind of like, whoa.
yeah,
Effectively, what this is going to mean is because we have only $32,000 for the year for allocation requests, we're gonna have to be a lot more careful about how we spend money and handle allocation requests. So all that being said, the next thing that we have to do, if there are no other questions, is we have to motion to vote. Move to either approve the budget or deny the budget moving forward, so.
There's no here.
Give me a second, I have no that to read here. Oh, I can do that. All right. So, this vote is for students only. It's a majority vote. Users online, if there are any, will make themselves visible via Zoom and use the chat feature to secure their vote. Before a vote is taken, the vice president puts the question by saying those in favor of the motion to secure the proposal will say A, and those will aye, and those opposed will say no. And then we'll wait for the motion to be carried. Or lost. And then from there, we'll move forward. So, all those in favor of the motion, to secure the proposed budget, say aye. And raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And those opposed? All right, so the motion has passed, and this will be our budget locked in for the next 2 semesters.
Thank you, everyone. So are we in?
Yep, I think so. Does anyone have any questions, comments, anything regarding the budget before we move on?
Where will this budget, will this be available for, like, is there anywhere we can access this for future reference?
Yeah, it should be in Raider Connect. You should have access. Right when you log into Raider Connect, there's the campus activities budget.
Campus activity, I see activities board,
I believe it's right. Those 2 things at the top.
campus, oh, okay, great. I've never once noticed that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the only person.
Yeah, that shows all the information for all the money, the
Great.
clubs, yeah, full
Okay,
transparency.
great, thank you.
Great. I think we're good to put away the presentation. now.
Could we do the application?
Yeah, let's move on to the allocation request.
All right, so I'll lead that. Yeah, our first allocation request of the year is from SACNAS. The Society for Advancement of Chicanos, Hispanics, and Native Americans in Science. They're requesting $7,000 to go to a conference in Portland, Oregon from October 25 to October 29. And is it fine if I just pass it to you guys and
Yeah.
explain what it is?
So my name is Emily Sanchez. I am the president of SACNAS. And for those of you that don't know what SACNAS is, SACNAS is an organization that aids underrepresented students primarily in STEM and help them obtain their advanced degree, as well as when they get to their careers, support them all the way through and find them leadership opportunities even past that. And so SACNAS is really big on communities, and I want to say we just want to create a space for students where they no longer feel like they are underrepresented. That being said, communities, SACNAS was a really big ally in my academics. When I found communities in SACNAS, I was able to better achieve my academic goals, as well as deeply immerse myself in my academic journey. So I think that was very beneficial for myself. And the reason I believe it's very beneficial for the e-board to go to this conference is because we want to go and bring back all that information that we obtain and adapt it and give it back to our students and kind of be able to build their networks, bring back ideas, and just kind of help our students and members just, achieve their academic goals and help them on their journeys as well, as best as we can.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Esqueda, and I am Vice President of the SACNAS organization here. As Emily had mentioned, SACNAS is an organization here that focuses on aiding underrepresented students here on campus to excel in their STEM careers. I found being part of SACNAS, means many things to me, such as feeling like a sense of belonging. Being surrounded by students who look like me, who are in a pathway, through STEM as well, has helped me achieve my career aspirations here at GRCC. So with that being said, I think it's important for the e-board to attend this conference in October, that we were able to apply those experiences and apply that information that we got from networking to other students here on campus who feel also were underrepresented.
Thank you, Emily. My name is Shirley Hernandez. Again, I go by Sharlita, and I am the secretary of SACNAS. And like they said prior, SACNAS is an organization aiding to represent underrepresented students within the STEM community. And I found that this organization has helped me develop not only leadership skills, but also allowed me to communicate with many different people. I know that it has led me to befriending these two wonderful people. And with their help, I am not only able to achieve my goals, but I also am motivated because I see other people that are motivated in their academics. So I think that it's really important for the e-board to go, like they said as well, in order to give that information to other students that were not able to go and with their networks, and not only through their academic career, but their career, like overall, and once they leave school and go into their jobs and, you know, stuff like that.
Adding on to that, I do want to say, I know that's possible to happen with students because as Shirley said, you befriend a lot of people. So I personally, like my second year of college wasn't so great, and it was because I really had nobody to go to. I didn't know who to surround myself with. And when I finally found people who I felt resonated with me in my academics, people who share similar cultures, even who didn't, I would find similarities. And even in our differences, we created a sense of community, and it would cause me to stay after school and study instead of just going home. I would want to be more involved here on campus. And that's kind of what we want to do for the members of this. And I think, again, by going to this conference, we can do more than just create community, but help them achieve and overall their academics and their academic journey.
To the people who just joined, we're doing an allocation request of $7,000 for SACNAS. They're just explaining why they'd like to go.
I have some questions, yeah. How many members are currently in SACNAS, if you don't mind me saying?
Currently, about.
And I feel that I'm one of the advisors for the group, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So we're in our second year. Last year, we got started at the tail end, and so we were very active at the Black Party recruiting, so can't give you an exact number, but there's quite a few that signed up for our organization. We tried to start pre-pandemic, and then things got derailed, as you all know, everything got derailed. And so we started again last winter, and this is our newest e-board, so we're only a semester into this. And so one of the things that we're hoping to do is to really consult and network with chapters that have been going nationwide to kind of get some best practices as to what they're doing on their campuses. So we can bring some of those ideas back to our campus and offer different programming like they're talking about right now. To give you an exact number, well, you don't know how many are on that sign-in sheet, I would
So
guess.
we were a part of the Student Block Party and we had really good feedback there. We had about, I want to say maybe like 60 people that signed up that were interested in it.
Do you guys do meetings or anything like that weekly?
Yeah, we're getting around to that. We're just trying to work with everybody's schedule, but we're in the works of doing that as we speak.
When you were around, when your previous chapters were around, you guys did weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings?
We were starting the process. We
Yes.
started that January of 2020, and as you all know, March of 2020 came around and we had to quickly disband. So we haven't really had much momentum, but this group here is off and running and they've now participated in the Black Party and Welcome Week. And so we finally feel like I think one of you made the comment about trying to get back to pre-pandemic. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
As an organization, but we have We have done some events already. So over the summer, we did a volunteer event at Land for Nature where we went and cleaned up some of the community wood projects. We went out to Grand Valley's boat. I forget what it's called right now off the top of my mind. Do you remember that?
The WRI, Water Research Institute, Grand Valley has two boats, one in Muskegon is the W.G. Jackson, and we were able to take a group of students on that boat to do water quality and water assessments on that.
So different exposure to different STEM related activities. I mean, that one, we had, I want to say 18 students go out there, plus I think there was 5 STEM faculty that joined us. The volunteer event, I think we had 7 or 8 students that went to that. So we're trying to get some momentum going.
Can you go into detail about, just for me, because I'm curious, I guess, but what separates your organization from the multicultural club or the Board of Diversity, Equity and Inclusion? What makes you separate from them?
You want to?
Yeah, so, I guess you can say it is, you will see a lot of like the cultural aspect of this. The SACNAS is also very STEM related. So we just kind of like to focus on that a lot more too aspect. So of course we want to, I guess every club wants their members to feel that sense of belonging. But overall, like, I think ours would just be that it is that cultural aspect, but pushing past that as well, academically, how are we helping them? So I guess, like more cultural organizations focus on that culture aspect, and we just kind of more so, we embrace it, and then we try to see how can we, help everybody else pass that. Like now we're looking at academics, research opportunities, workshops, and things of that nature.
And your allocation requests, not everyone else can see this, but
Mhm.
you provided a file like of the breakdown.
Yes.
Yeah, that was gonna be what I was interested in.
Yeah, it says in total, it'll be 6,961, but I'm guessing you just rounded up.
Yeah,
And you did this in like August or July, the breakdown?
yes.
Have you checked the prices to now, like the airfare and the hotel and lodging? Does it still seem the same?
Would you
Not
say
far.
so?
I think we're gonna be able to actually save a little bit of money compared to what you're seeing there. We did round up when we did our estimate, just to account for those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I think we'll come in under budget. I just, we want to be safe on the conservative side. I think we'll save some money on the food particularly. So there's another group that's gonna be going on campus, from the TRIO program, if you're familiar with TRIO here on campus. So we'll be able to save some money there by partnering with the TRIO program.
For a rough estimate, what do you think the true cost would be?
I mean, it's not gonna be thousands less, probably more a couple hundred, so probably like closer to 6,500 mark would be my guess.
And then you would just redistribute those funds back.
We'd make sure it gets back to
Okay.
Student Alliance to redisseminate.
Did you consult at all with Sheena or the campus who kind of helps students out with airfare and hotel fare and all that when you made your estimations?
So I guess give me a little bit more information on what you're looking for there.
So when we plan trips, for example, we go through Sheena and there's a board or like a committee or something that establishes airfare and secures hotels and make sure things are secure for students and meets up with the standards of the college so that their requirements for student travel are met.
Yep, so we will be using the college's travel agent that that our purchasing department uses here on campus, if it's approved. We'll be using the college's travel agent. We can't submit any official documentation until this request was either approved or denied. So immediately after this meeting, we are going to work together to get the appropriate form submitted to Student Life.
Gotcha.
If it's approved.
In the event in which the request gets denied or just half or however much gets allocated, not the full amount.
Yeah.
Is there a backup plan or a plan B?
To be honest with you, the answer would be no. I think that one of the group's goals, and Emily, please feel free to speak to this, but I think one of the group's goals this year would be really looking at fundraising efforts moving forward to kind of create some sustainability. I mean, obviously, we know that enrollment is declining, or more and more students are going part-time or 3/4 time, which is significantly starting to impact the campus activities fee revenue. And so we don't want to have to keep coming to the group when we know that y'all have events for the entire campus that you have to put on. And so I think from a sustainability effort, we certainly want to look at fundraising efforts, but to remind you, we're only in our second semester, so we haven't had time to get out there and, you know, hit the fundraising, the goal like we hoped for, so.
Yeah, we really want to get on fundraising. Like we said, we want to host meetings, but not only meetings, like workshops and additional volunteering opportunities and great fundraising. We are trying to get out of that COVID era, so we're definitely going to be looking at these next 2 semesters. And
Are there any questions from the?
I have a question still. I'm sorry, there are how many people in this organization and how many people are going to this conference?
so the budget proposal is for the e-board, which would be consist of 4 members.
Just thinking. And how many people are in the organization total?
In the organization, it's like a rough estimate, just because again. we're just
Understood.
getting
I just
started.
would like a number, please.
Maybe like.
There was over 60 on that sign.
There was.
Great, thank
yeah.
you. Thank you very much.
And you had a question?
Is there any opportunity for the public to be able to put on fundraiser, whatever, that we can, you know, generate money from the general public?
That would be something that would fall under the guide, all of the information about fundraising and how to go about fundraising is spelled out in the student handbook. That is an option available. And that is something that any allocation request, not just this one, if you have an organization here and you want to do fundraising, as long as it falls within the parameters of what's in the student handbook, you basically have free rein to fundraise however you'd like.
I think one other key thing that maybe was shared, and I may have missed it, but one of the things that we hope to be able to share, not hope, that we intend to share with the campus-wide community as we come back from this, and I hope that all of you will put this on your calendars. We have an event in the science building on November 1st, where students that participate in summer research programming, or in this case, our e-board, that will be going to a conference that's nationwide, where they're learning about best practices in STEM. Will be there to share their learning from that conference. And so it's not meant to just be these 4 benefiting from it. We certainly intend to share pamphlets, flyers that they're picking up, so that we can share those research opportunities with the entire campus. There's summer research that's happening at multiple 4-year universities across campus that our students can participate in. And that's one of the things that they need to obviously be on the lookout for as they're going to these conferences, is what else can I share with my fellow peers, if that makes sense. So November 1st, from 11 to 3 over in the science building, we'll have that event if you can make it. Regardless of whether or not this gets approved, you know, we plan to share summer research opportunities at that time.
I just want to say, I love that there are some young leaders trying to do something on campus. It really makes me happy. I wanted to ask though, a little bit about the conference, just because I don't know too much about it. Like, do we know who's running it? I just know that, you know, I've been to a couple conferences, and I think some of them can be more beneficial. The ones that I think are more beneficial are the ones where you're like in positions like actually running things, or it is my opinion. But I'm just kind of curious a little bit more about the conference. Like, could you break it down a little bit?
Yeah, so like, you could definitely find more information, like you could go to SACNAS's website.
SACNAS?
Yeah, so they provide information, and they talk about providing a bunch of workshops, and not only for like students, but like for advisors, how they can help our students, and how other chapters are gonna be there from SACNAS and maybe from community colleges as well. And we can all attend these workshops, and from there we're gonna get information and bring that back to our chapter, and, you know, see kind of what they're doing and how we can implement that here at JCC. They have, as Evan mentioned, they present research. So people who have been doing research, students just like us, they present their research there. They have a bunch of different colleges show up from all over the country, and they're just kind of just handing out their pamphlets, having research opportunities based on what you want to do. And yeah, we're gonna bring back all the information. I want to say that's just a big part of it, the workshops, the college fair, the research presentations, and again, that celebration of like culture itself in STEM.
And the case in which it seems like you guys don't expect to use the full allocation, but there are some instances in which some groups think that and they actually ask for more money.
Mhm.
In the case in which prices go up, airfare goes up, and it's just like a lot more than you expected, would you plan on requesting another allocation, or what would the process be like?
Yeah, what's a contingency plan
Um,
for?
No, so I guess that's more of. It would depend on just how much more. But I don't necessarily think we would come back and ask.
Our goal is to lock in those things, we have a meeting immediately
Yeah.
after this. If it gets approved, we're booking the flights and the hotels and everything right away, so that we don't encounter that issue.
Another question. So is the 7,000, does that include advisor funds?
I think they have a separate travel fund.
Okay.
Separate
Thank you.
travel fund.
But we will be able to save that. I mean, it is $1,000 that's available to us if we needed it, but we're gonna be able to fund our own. So Anna and I are the two advisors for the group, and we're gonna be able to fund our way through a department budget that's already approved us for professional development.
Have you been in contact with the Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion to let them know that you're planning on this trip and to see if there's anything they can do to help you with this?
Evan can
It's
answer
fun
it.
that you mentioned that. They actually are partnering with Trio, and they did provide funds for one student to go. So Trio is taking 11 students to go. This is outside of the e-board. And those students are part of our program. So it's two separate things, Trio, and then there's the Sinus student organization. And the 11 students that are going, 10 of them are being funded by Trio grant funds, which is a federal budget here on campus. One is being funded by ODEI. So they did put up some money to help sponsor a group of students to attend this conference.
Unfortunate for you that money has already been allocated to another group. But that's a great answer.
Yeah.
That also kind of answers my next question, is that have you looked into grants or funding for this type of thing specifically for your organization?
Yeah, I guess it would go back to what Evan said. They have been helping us with what they can, but again, there's only so much people can do.
Correct.
Are there any more questions?
If nothing else, I'd like to make some comments, just to be completely frank and open with you guys about what I'm looking, because I looked through your allocation request. I looked at everything. I tried to get as large of a grasp on it as I could. And what I want to kind of stress, and I'm just going to kind of say, I'm not in favor of passing this allocation personally. It goes to a floor vote, but the reasons why I'm not in favor is just because approving your allocation would drain more than 1/5 of our total budget for the year, just for the 4 of you to travel to this conference. You guys are a fledgling organization. You've only been around for 2 semesters. There's been no fundraising attempts so far, which is kind of something that we've been working on pushing, especially with clubs and organizations. We've had to tell clubs and organizations that, like, hey, we're not going to be able to approve as much as we've been able to approve because we don't have the budget for it this semester. You're gonna need to rely more on fundraising. I'm wondering if this particular trip would be better useful for your club and your organization as something that could be done in a following year, when you guys have become more established on campus, when you guys have started getting meetings together and getting fundraising set up and off and running. It sounds like even outside of this, you guys have a number of events and plans in the works that you're excited to go through. And so personally, that's just kind of the red flags I'm seeing and why I'm not personally in favor of approving $7,000 for this. The good news is it's not up to me, but I wanted to make that heard.
Just to follow on that, just play devil's advocate, I do see your guys' concerns. And I do promote, like, just traveling the world, especially for Hispanic and Chicanos and for Indigenous people, especially in STEM, since we're pretty underrepresented in that area. So I do see the benefit of that, of you guys traveling, since, like, honestly, Hispanic and Latinos, we don't really, a lot of us aren't able to see the world. But on Michael's point, this is a big allocation. Which, not saying that other groups aren't gonna have money, but yeah, there are fundraising for other groups. But yeah, I see both sides, but like Michael said, it's a good thing that it's not up to us only, it's up to every single student here. So yeah, do you guys
To
have?
that, I do want to say, like, one, we are taking this as a big opportunity to just bring back what other chapters are doing. Like, yeah, we don't obviously have the momentum. And it is something that we want to kind of host throughout the years. Either way, it's not like we just want to do it every couple of years. We want every academic year, possibly if we have the budget to go and do this for all our students. That being said, you did mention, yeah, so it's gonna be the opportunity to start that. We wanna have that, bring back that momentum and get everybody to the table. As far as meetings, we are hosting a meeting this month. We are working on that. We have already got emails out, we have availabilities, and that's what the board is working on. So we do have that coming into play. We don't necessarily have the fundraising and all that stuff, but again, we are trying to get that momentum in. So it's not really being seen right now, but it's definitely behind the scenes that is happening.
What if there was a compromise where they only send 2 students as like a testing ground? So we'll have the budget, but adding on to what your name's Michael, right? Yeah. Adding on to what Michael said, he is right, fledgling organization, not much fundraising, not much momentum, but adding on to the gentleman sitting to his right, what's your name? Alex. Adding on to what Alex said, there is a benefit in sending students to the said conference. So I think that a compromise where they only send 2 students, so it has the budget. But it still sends somebody, so they can come back, report their findings, and you guys can deliberate amongst themselves who those 2 students would be out of the 4. That's just my perspective on the matter, at least.
I'd like to remind the room that GRCC is sending 11 students to this conference. So if the point is to send students to come back with information, there is representation at this conference.
And this will be the last thing I say, and then I'll stay quiet. And I want to say that I like your organization. I want your organization to succeed. I respect what you guys are doing. For reference, just from what I've seen since I've been here and I've been doing budget allocations with student government, this allocation is comparable to the $10,000 allocation we approved for the Multicultural Festival. And that was a large festival that was open to every member of GRCC and open to the public. And they also fundraise a large amount in order to support acquiring that allocation request at that size. And while your guys isn't as large as theirs, by a factor of $3,000, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that other organizations are depending on for the year, not just the semester.
I did want to add something as well. I think I think the compromise is a good way to look at it, because I agree with what's been mentioned. That's a significant chunk of the budget that's supposed to be for all student organizations, allocations across not just this semester, but next semester. And when, as you mentioned, like we already have 11 people representing the college and you can bring your findings, it's a little difficult to justify. But I did want to add that I think if it is, if it is successful and you want to continue doing it, that, I mean, just looking at SACNAS's website, they also offer travel scholarships. If you submit them far enough in advance. And they also, you know, there's also an earlier discount if you're able to submit the registration, like you're able to pay for the registration before a certain deadline. So in addition to having more time to fundraise, there are also like scholarship and discount opportunities that could bring the cost down for next year. If you want to do this as with all four of you, if you return next year, that could make it a lot more palatable for next year's budget.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, because that is something that would be really cool. And honestly, I'm a little envious of the people who are already going in Trio, but it's very difficult to, it's a significant portion of our already limited budget this year.
Yeah, that's definitely something we would have liked to plan to do, getting into that early bird costs. And if it is something we do plan to do, we're definitely gonna, from the end of winter semester, even we'll start looking at who wants to apply, who wants to go, and getting those things ready to keep the budget as low as possible.
Right, because if you are able to fundraise just enough for the registration cost, that would save you $100. And then that way, your budget, your allocation request could cover just like the travel and board, you know.
No, for sure, yeah, that's something we're definitely taking into consideration.
Just to the department. So clearly, yes, GRCC has a vested interest in this, but I want to remind everybody that it's a Trio federally funded program. So if this wasn't, those 11 students that are going, it wasn't an opportunity that everybody on campus had to be, like, they weren't all invited to this. Trio is a federally funded program that serves first generation and our low income students. So you have to qualify for Trio in order to be part of the program. So I do want to make sure that that is taken into account when we talk about, yes, GRCC has put some interest behind this, but really it's come from Department of Ed budget dollars. It's not GRCC dollars.
Right.
Okay, so I want to make sure that that's known as you guys take into account your vote.
With everything that has been said, what are your guys' thoughts on a compromise of potentially sending, maybe like split it 2 people instead of 4?
I definitely want to say it's like better, like whatever, you know, we can get, we are grateful for. So if it does come down to, I understand the budget is lower than last year significantly. So I do understand if that is something we do have to compromise with. Realistically, yeah, all 4 would be great, but again, I do understand that nature of the budget being lower this year.
Are there any other comments or questions that have to be voiced before we put this to a vote?
Well, with the compromise, looking at their website, it looks like after September 30th, the registration price will raise by $100 for students. And our next student government meeting, town hall meeting, is on October 2nd. So that would actually end up increasing the cost slightly. That's something to keep into consideration.
Can I ask a procedural question? I know I'm not a student, I'm not planning on voting. Because of that, is it procedure wise, would you take a vote then on the initial one, and then can they say, okay, well, let's do the compromise one in the same breath, or no? Does that make sense?
Are you asking, should we vote on this one?
Like,
If it gets denied, then we work in the compromise?
I guess,
or-
yeah, that's what so that we can make sure we meet that deadline. You
Okay.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I want to make sure, like, how does the procedure work, or should they say now that they want to do the compromise?
It's never happened before,
Okay.
but Ashley,
Trying to think of
There could be an
instance-
amendment.
Yeah, I'm thinking of an instance where this has happened, and I think as long as it's in writing, you wouldn't have to put in another request. So that we meet it on the request form itself, if anything has changed, numerically,
You would need another request?
would not.
okay,
Well, I guess we don't even know if everyone agrees or disagrees,
Right,
so we could
right.
still see, because everyone could be in your favor.
Right, that's what I'm saying, procedure wise, I guess, can we do the vote on the first one and then the second one, or?
let's take a vote now and see where we're going.
Okay.
So raise your hand if you're in favor of the $7,000 allocation. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, and opposed. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I count. So the motion carries as denied. opening up the conversation again. If we reduced the budget to $3,500, which is half of the requested allocation. What do you think that would be sufficient and more than sufficient to cover the cost of 2 people attending?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, and are you guys fine with making that compromise, all things considered? I know it's probably disappointing not getting the allocation in full approved, but you guys are okay with sending this to another vote?
Yes.
Can I ask, is Connor voting?
Connor is the.
Oh, okay, all right. That could have potentially made a tie, so just wondering.
Wait, I also wanted to ask, so there's 4 total? Is there one of the people not here?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, do they know about this? Like, would they be okay with this too? I don't know.
Yes,
Okay.
they were.
Yeah, we
he just
discussed,
had class.
what would happen if it was either tonight or not. And we
Okay.
just- Either way, we had that all in mind.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Everybody's definitely on board.
Because I'm here, I'm representing like 4 other people right now, so
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
I-
for sure. We definitely have some.
okay,
And I just wanted to say, it's nothing personal.
yeah.
Like,
We
It's-
understand.
I'll just be honest, if it was last year,
Yeah.
I would have been like, yep, send everyone.
Same here.
But I think we had a 60,000 difference in money.
69.
69. So,
Understandable.
so the
Yeah,
20,000,
last year it would have been 5% of the.
Yeah,
budget.
Yeah,
so the 33,000 that we have now is for fall and winter. And I know for sure the cultural festival is still happening. And then I know another group wants to go to a conference. And then I know there's still more events happening,
Yeah.
but we still want you guys to go, so
Sure.
we'd love a compromise. It's just, I think this is my first year, but this is the first time in which we don't have a vast budget to allocate to everyone.
it puts us in a difficult spot because like, I don't like telling people no, but also I have a responsibility to the greater student body, and we all have a greater responsibility to use this money responsibly because it is placed in our trust. Are there any more comments before we vote on the $3,500 budget allocation?
We're doing that now.
I believe so.
Or do you guys want to like sort out everything? Or never mind, because
We can-
the
yeah.
registration goes up after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as possible.
From an advisor standpoint, I love the financial, I guess, I love what you guys are doing, as a group. I think you're being responsible, and I think traditionally it's been a pretty open allocation to go after, but, I like the comments that you've all shared, and I think good feedback for the Sinus group to think about moving forward. So I appreciate the due diligence you are all taking on your end.
Gotcha. With that being said, all in favor of a $3,500 budget allocation, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And those opposed? 2, motion passes. 3,500 approved. And with that, I believe that's all our allocation for. Okay, we did it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To round out the meeting, we had some conversation talking points that we wanted to talk about. The first one just being, do you mind if I just rock with this? Yeah. Public safety, we wanted to hear people's thoughts in general about the new policy requiring Raider cards to access buildings after certain times, which goes in effect today. As a bit of background, me and Alex have been in contact with Rebecca, who's the chief of police on campus. We've had a number of meetings with her. There was last semester, if you recall, there was a student safety lunch meeting with Alina and Rebecca that I got to take part in. And especially at that time, it was just when the Michigan State shooting incident happened. And there was a lot of concern about safety on campus. And there was a lot of talk about what can we do as a school to provide a safer place for students to learn. And this was kind of how Rebecca explained it, there are certain things that because it's a public school that we're not allowed to do. And there are certain things that we are allowed to do. And that this is kind of the plan that we set forward. So I'm excited to hear thoughts about that.
And before, sorry, I just want to add, this idea of tapping to come into buildings, it came from a conversation, a town hall that we invited Dr. Leopard to.
Yes.
So, yeah, just to highlight the significance of these town halls. If you want some change, if you want to see something implemented, come voice your opinion, especially when there's special guests. Yeah, sorry.
What, like, how come, like, just in general, how come, like, there's not like a video or something on the internet or whatever to show what we're supposed to do, you know, just like what you said, you know, in Lansing. How come we don't have some kind of video or training or something like, you know, yeah, like you said, it's a good idea for them doing lock systems at, you know, in the evenings or whatever, but what happens if some crazy guy comes up here in broad daylight?
Yeah.
You know, we're sitting in class. That's exactly what happened over there in East Lansing, so that's one of the concerns, not just for East Lansing, but for any kind of campus.
Interestingly enough, this was one of the things I brought up with Rebecca in a meeting that I had with her, where it's like that's fine for after hours, and that's definitely the highest risk time, but that something like that could happen whenever, you know, and I believe, I don't know if it was officiated yet, I believe that with the exception of primary access ways like the RJK building and the Student Life building, all third-party exits are more restricted to indoor access and are just exit points, which helps improve security. And in addition to that, why there isn't a video or anything available. I know that all this stuff was briefed on Raider Connect and on the police website for the GRCC police. Past that, it's just text, it's not a video. So I can talk and see about if they'd be willing to produce a video, but I'm not sure about.
Do our phones, though, if you have alert or something, it'd be like.
Yes, you guys get text, if any incident happens that is of security interest, you get a text notification. That text note, this is important, that text notification is sent to the device that is associated with your student account. So if you change your phone or you get a new phone, you'll have to contact the school and update that if you want to push notifications. And then you're also notified by email with your student email address. Did you have a comment?
Yeah. I'm in favor of it personally. I think that it is a common sense, non-intrusive or restrictive way to expand safety on campus. You know, it just makes sense. Like, you know, we carry these around. I have mine in my wallet, you know, and we already had to use it to get to if you've ever used the athletic center, you have to use it to get into the gym. Yeah. So it's just a natural extension of an already in place feature on some parts of campus. So personally, I'm in favor of it because it's not intrusive and it's pretty common. It makes sense, you know, like we have these cards and, you know, all students are given them. So in theory, a non-student who would want to do harm wouldn't be able to get into any of the buildings on campus.
Yes. And this is another important thing to kind of just be wary about, but most of the incidents that happen on school grounds happen by current or former students of the establishment. So just be careful. I guess, and we're working on that.
Did they evaluate, like, if you have enough cameras, like if there's an active shooter to locate the active person?
Yes, so Rebecca said that the I have to ask again for the specifics because it was before the summer, so I don't have the exact numbers. But we have constant police patrols. She has said that within a 2-hour time frame, every major walked area is supposedly walked by or seen by a police officer. we have cameras everywhere. Those cameras are all operational. There's money that's set aside specifically for that. But for any additional specifics, I'd have to get back with you back on that. I'm sorry that I don't have great hard numbers.
Yeah, my name is Jennifer. My question was that, so we do have the Raider cards to be scanned after, remind me, was it 7 o'clock?
6 or 7? It was 7.
7?
Yeah.
I know that there's nothing that could be stopped from having someone come and apply to the college, get a Raider card, and then have access to school. Are they taking any preventative measures against that itself?
Like an internal threat.
Right, yeah.
It'd be an expensive way to do it. You have to pay tuition.
Well, I mean, to add on to that, a lot of the time, the perpetrators of, incidents of violence at school are students themselves. So there's no reason that someone, I believe that was actually the case at the Michigan State, or at least a very recent student.
It was a student.
Yeah, it was a student. So I guess my concern is I think it was previously mentioned, I wasn't not fully recalling, but maybe some better education on what the lockdown procedure is, because that was something that was required in high school and middle school for me. But I don't know, I actually don't know what the plan of action is if there were to be an active shooter situation at this school.
Posted in every single classroom should be orders of operations next to the door. And if they're
It's
not,
next to the door.
yep, and if they're not, contact student life with a police officer and they'll get there.
I do want to note that, I mean, maybe that's also just me not observing that, but not once in any of the syllabary, just when we covered the syllabus in any of my classrooms has that been mentioned. Just having that pointed out would be good to know.
Allegedly, the police department has hounded professors to add that as part of their syllabus, but
Right.
there's an issue of there being so much bloat during orientation and syllabus. So that
There is a
a
lot,
lot of professors just don't do it.
but it would be nice to have one of those things that's required in every syllabus, like Title IX, the COVID policies. It would be nice to have that outlined, or maybe even a short summary of, what happens at the college wide level besides just at the class, the classroom. Obviously, we have the emergency alert system in place now, but I think it would be better to know. And obviously, I could just talk to the police and ask them, but it would be nice to have that,
We can definitely see what we can do about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me do some digging and get back. Student safety is my big thing. It's what I made my goal for the semester to kind of help out with. So, let me see what I can do about that and get back to you.
Sure.
I'm sorry that that's not a super helpful answer.
No, I understand that there's a limited amount of things you can do. And
Yeah.
It's just, that would be nice to see.
Real fast before I get to you, I'm sorry, another thing to bring up to your question about someone applying and coming in and causing harm and the security issues there involved. And also just putting more reasoning behind the fact that it's 7 PM lockdown and not all lockdown. GRCC is a Grand Rapids funded community college. And it's publicly funded. That's a portion of the funding for the entire school comes from the state, and then the other from tuition, of course. And because the state puts money into it, there are certain legal parameters and requirements for any state-run or state-organized institution to be accessible by the public and approachable by the public, because that's public tax dollars funding it, which is a total catch-22 because it feels less safe because it's open to the public, but also this place wouldn't even exist if we didn't have taxpayers subsidizing it. So it's a difficult line to balance. And this key card access component is kind of the best that we can do, because someone at that meeting with Rebecca and Lina last semester asked if there was a way to make all doors in the school accessible via a Raider card. So you'd have to tap into your classroom, all front doors, student life office during all hours of the day. And the answer that she got was pretty much like, it's a public school. there has to be some level of accessibility to the general public, which is weird, but it's the law, I guess. So I can provide more details later when I'll probably talk to Rebecca sometime next week.
My question was, because most of those people that do become a threat have mental health issues, could we do like an anonymous survey to the student body of how they're feeling or how they're doing or what their opinion would be of how their help serve mental health, so we can prevent it being someone that has mental health issues on campus becoming a threat?
Yeah, that connects one of our topics as well, mental health at JRCC. I'll just read it. It's, do you feel as if students' mental health is upheld? So just to give a quick overview, Michael's public safety, we have like little passions that we have at JRCC. Michael's public safety, mine is mental health, and Nick's is the arts at JRCC. But yeah, to answer that question, we've been in contact, well, I've been in contact with Melissa Ware, the director of the Counseling and Career Development Center. And I'm not sure if it's public information yet, but there is a like 30-page report based on JRCC's mental health and recommendations and actions we can implement at JRCC. I'll ask Melissa if it's available to the public since it's like very valuable. But yeah, we've been in conversations with Dr. Lepper to uphold these recommendations. I know following the student to counselor ratio, we're behind significantly. You know, the collegiate data report on that, it was very informative. But yeah, we're in conversation with Dr. Lepper, Melissa Ware. We actually had a conversation with Dr. Lepper last week. No? Yeah, last week, I think. But yeah, that's on our mind.
I used to hang out there on the campus of Michigan State, and like, it used to be, you know, really fun time and everything, but since the shooting, it kind of like you really sense of, like safety. And I haven't been out there since the shooting, but I have friends that go to that school, and I can only imagine what was going through their mind, you know. I just don't want to have to deal with that here.
Yeah, that's I think we all share that same sentiment that sure we don't ever want to be in that situation at JRCC or just in general. Yeah, we're as student government, we're really trying to keep JRCC as safe as can be mentally and physically.
To kind of add some ease to everything. Again, I feel like comparatively to Michigan State University, JRCC isn't a particularly high level or appealing target just because of the fact that we have patrols on campus and we are in very close proximity to the Grand Rapids Police Station. Our response time for police is within 2 minutes. So we have a very good response time here. We have active, Rebecca said that she could get an officer on campus wherever there might be an issue within 60 seconds. I don't know how true that is, but we are, as far as community colleges go, pretty darn safe, which is a definite source of calm for me when I get myself worked up about student safety. That being said, it's important that we still keep trying to do the best that we can. And so we're working on that. You had questions?
Oh, yeah,
He's been raising a hand for a while, so after.
Yeah, I wasn't planning to say anything, but I just wanted you guys to know it's a super important thing to save your life. The college actually does have a video. You go to the main website and just type in active shooter. They actually just updated the video. They interviewed a couple students who are transfer students who go to Michigan State from JRCC. And they don't go into real details or anything, but they just talk about how important it is to be ready. This is a 6-minute video. I showed on the first day of my class. It really sucks that we have to show a video like this on the first day of class, because when you just get to meet people, I talked to them about how we will band together and fight if we have to, like we talk about using tables and chairs. If we have to go to barricade between ourselves and someone trying to come in, we talk about running and hiding and all these things. We have a glass door in the classroom. A lot of these have glass exposures. We talk about how that makes people feel. And the thing is, you can't, in the K-12 system, you can rely on your teacher. There's protocols. There's a lot more drills. We don't do that here. So when you get to be an adult and you're at a college or even at the grocery store or in a movie theater, it's really your own personal responsibility to figure out like, okay, how do I going to survive? You can ask your teachers to show this. It is true that Rebecca Whitman has asked all of us to show it in class, but how many people in here have actually seen it? Okay, so that means that that's not happening. You guys can also push, you can ask your professors in class to show the video. I'd watch it yourself. I wouldn't rely on anybody, just empower yourself with that knowledge. As an organization, you guys could ask the administration to require it. There are things I'm required to put in my syllabus that are not optional. I have to put in certain things. We get a note every August that says, here are the items to have in your syllabus. They could ask, tell the professors, hey, please show this life-saving video. The other items I'm putting in my syllabus probably might not save your life, but I'm required to put it in there. So that's something you guys can do. But I just really want to make sure you all know there is a video. And if you just give some thought to like be aware of your exit points, I'm not going to try to act like Rebecca Whitman. We have a security expert on campus, and that is our police chief. And if you have questions too, you can pop into the police department. If you're nervous about something, you're like, hey, I'm not sure what I would do. Flag down with the officer. They would be more than happy to talk to you proactively about what you can do to feel safer. But it really is a matter of your own personal responsibility, just because not everyone's showing the video. But you guys certainly can ask for that. And you can even show it, in your meeting. You show it so everybody can see it.
Thank you for offering that, because I actually didn't know that existed. Even just having like a link in the syllabus would be nice, but I mean, still, just the fact that thank you for showing us that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and you guys can request this be sent to everyone.
Yeah.
They send you guys a lot of information in this.
I get a lot of emails, yeah.
Last week was Campus Safety Week, and I'm surprised that I hadn't heard anybody say they received it in an email. Because I think they did something every day.
Maybe I just.
But yes, I still like that. We can still issue another one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you guys, like, some of these groups have like the maps of like where you're supposed to go if there's a tornado or whatever. Shouldn't they can't we put the same scenario for where you go, or, if there's a shooter, whether it be, because if you're in the hallway, if you're in the hallway, you gotta figure out, when, you run to your back, use the bathrooms a lot, but
There's
some of these classrooms aren't.
there should be, and I believe it's required. There's an action plan in every classroom. So past the classrooms, like where else, I guess, would you want action plans posted?
Maybe by the bathrooms?
Okay, I can see about that. Real fast, I know we have questions. I have these active shooter, what to do little bookmarks that Rebecca gave me. I have a ton of them. I just put them next to the constitutions. They have the emergency number for the police department listed right there on them. So if you need to contact the student police, you can use that information. This is a cool thing that I didn't know was available to students, but in the event that you feel like you need an escort or transport to your car because you're not feeling safe, maybe you have a late night class, that is something that GRCC can arrange if you call them. Yes.
Many of you have talked about proactiveness in terms of what to do in case of a active shooter. I think that the other thing that you might want to talk about or talk with either Chief Whitman or the Office of Student Life is more BIT awareness and training. So if you're not familiar with BIT, it stands for Behavioral Intervention Team. We have a team of staff, all counselors, the chiefs on there, student life representations on there, deans are on there. It's a way for you all as peers to report things that don't seem right. So let's say a student, all of a sudden they change their eating habits or their hygiene habits, or you notice a lack of sleep, whatever it may be. Those are typically signs that something's not going right. Or if they post something on social media, that's something that you can bring to our attention, and you can do it anonymously. You can do it as somebody that you want to put your name out there. But I would encourage you to, if you Google GRCC bid, you can make a referral and it will be reviewed by a team that's here on campus that is trained to handle these types of things. I used to be on that bid team. And so I would encourage you to look into that a little bit more as, you know, as part of your safety plan for the year and how you might go about proactively training your fellow peers. You know, I don't know if Ashley has anything to add. Who's leading bid from your team right now?
Alyssa, who is here, she also advises campus activities board. And yeah, just to add on to what Evan shared, you don't have to ask more than, you don't need to get into it yourself. If your gut says something and you want to say something, you can report it online. You can speak with somebody who works as an employee at the college and they can take it from there. So you can remove yourself from it. It doesn't mean you're involved if you say something.
There was talk last semester and I was trying to get a student safety coalition, a group of students up and running. I ended up contacting the students who wanted to help me in the formation of that coalition prior to the semester starting, and none of them were interested anymore. So if you are interested in organizing a student safety coalition, and this is something that you're passionate about, get with me after the meeting. We can get something organized. I basically have all the preparations made. It's just that nobody who I contacted decided to help me out with it. But we're working on it. It's something that I care a lot about.
As about your e-board again, I mean, it's incredible the work that you've all done already in the short amount of time you've been in your roles. It's pretty cool to see like your, I guess, strategic plan for the year, and overall safety is important, whether it's physical or mental health or emotional health. So I love what you're doing.
We do have, I hate to cut this conversation short because it is really impactful, but we do have 2 other points and we only have 20 minutes left. So what more, do you want to talk more about mental health, Alex?
If you want to talk about it, so.
Are we done with the mental health?
No, like, we don't have anything. Yeah, so for mental health at GRCC, I asked the question again. It was, do you feel as if students' mental health is upheld or taken seriously at GRCC? Or to give an example, that you've heard of the promotion of the Counseling and Career Development Center and their resources, or have you gone and how was that experience?
I think that like when you go to class, your professors ask you how you're doing, and that's pretty cool that they care.
Let me ask a question in a general sense. Raise your hand if you are aware that there is counseling services available on the 3rd floor of Student Life. Two people. So there are counseling services available by appointment at Student Life. Not many, one of the things we're trying to work on with Dr. Lepper and Melissa is getting more transparency to that so that more students know that they have access to those services. So just be on the lookout for that. Additionally, we've been working with the survey commission. I forget the exact name of it.
Institutional research.
Yeah, there should be surveys coming out about mental health in addition to some other things. Sorry to steal.
You're fine. Yeah, I touched briefly on it, but the mental health report that Melissa Weir, she's conducted, not sure if I can say anything right now, since I'm not sure if it's public information. But I'll let her know if we could share it, since it is very informative and beneficial. I just don't want to say too much right now, sorry. Yeah, we've been talking about potentially collaborating with the Counseling and Career Development Center to see if we could do like a self-care event or something. But yeah, you guys think like there's a mental health issue in general or at GRCC? Or
I think everything can be better.
Yeah, I agree.
I think like some people like don't have like family support, and it gets like really depressing or you don't have a group of friends and don't know how to fit in. So it sometimes gets overwhelming.
I agree. I feel like it's really hard to make friends here, especially with the way that it's a 2-year college and you only have like a certain amount of time here. And most people that go here, they have jobs and they have other responsibilities to go to. So, yeah, it's just really hard to find a like friend group, I guess.
What do you think would have helped with that friend group, like more events, more?
Yeah, I feel like events, like just even having a space where you get to know other people, like it doesn't matter what career you're going into or like what you're interested in, just, you know, because you can still be friends despite differences.
Like maybe the culinary arts students can do like an event and they show off the food that they make there. And then have like a meet and greet to know other students. That'd be pretty cool.
Right.
There has been talks about a spot on campus that would be kind of seen as like a recreational place where there might be games or something like that. To kind of help create a more social dynamic to the campus. It's not just about learning. We're, I would say, early in the production of that. We haven't really done a lot on it because we're waiting on student feedback, but do you think that the inclusion of a rec center or a place where you could spend time socially on campus would improve mental health on campus in some way?
Like a social hour?
Give you some wind down time, some social wind down time when you're on coming from one class and you still got like a half hour before.
Yeah.
Start another when you got some place to go.
Yeah, I also know that student life, they like held a thing, I couldn't go to it, but I think they took some students to like the art museum. And like they had like a little outing with the Go CGR thing, so I feel like holding events like that, you know, just going as a group too, would be beneficial.
Where would you guys think would be the best area for like a social hour or community hour or whatever it may be called? Oh, I mean, what are your guys' favorite places on campus?
The gym.
Kind of a weightlifting competition.
I think the fitness club is doing something like.
Maybe going like to foodology or the heritage.
There's a lot of, I forget the name of the org that handles like the fine dining experience with culinary arts, but if you haven't been there, it's kind of a fun thing to experience. If you haven't, you have to like make a reservation and dress nice. And
That's the heritage.
Yeah.
You got, yeah, I just got one of their things you got. And what, don't believe the professor when he says, oh, before you come to class, you got time.
The broom come.
Yeah, he said, go till time. If
I
you
think I
can-
can do a
if you think, I'm like,
reservation.
all right, go up there, come to find out, I'm like, you can't just walk in there and get a beer.
No, it's the samples.
No, you actually have to have
Oh.
certain times, it's not just walk in.
Well, it's class. You have to go during the class time.
Yeah,
I
I guess,
get ready to take that class, no way after I get done with it. And then you're moving.
yeah, I think a good place would be maybe student life. We have a student life. We just renovated it, actually. It's very modern, it's very spacious. Yeah, we could,
The Raider Grill.
the Raider Grill,
And
and
there's a lot of seating in there, but
Yeah.
especially that, if you take like that fishbowl room. Put like a foosball table or,
Yeah.
Yeah,
what do you call that? It's stupid.
air hockey,
Ping pong.
pinball.
Ping pong, that's what it is.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, my goodness. Put a ping pong table in there, that'll be a little more proactive.
I was literally talking to Nick the other day about putting a ping pong table somewhere on
Yeah,
campus.
I think in the Raider Grill or the fishbowl would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I know
That would
Grand
be good.
Valley has one like in their campus and they have like an Xbox, a PS4, like ping pong tables and pool and stuff like that.
What's
I
it
like
called?
that.
I don't know what it's called, but it's in Grand Valley.
Grand Valley.
Yeah.
They got.
Good Davenport
It's
was
like,
hot.
check out, you got stuff with both.
so they have like the consoles and all that.
Yeah, and they have different games and stuff, but they're downloaded obviously.
Oh,
to them. Yeah.
Let me see what I can do there.
super thought.
Something at each floor. Cause when I was at Davenport a couple times, no, I didn't go there, but when I was there. On each like floor of the dorm areas especially, they had like an area where just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they had some games. Usually it was like ping pong or something.
Nice.
Yeah, I know Raider Nation Gaming, they have like their area with all the games,
Like,
but
yeah,
they're not like for everyone.
Yeah, they just have like, just for games.
For the last 10 minutes, I guess we can touch up words.
I actually think that it's more important that we ask if anybody came here with anything specific that they would like to talk about.
A little bit, I'm the vice president of foreign affairs and secretary of the Rotaract Club that just formed recently, so. I guess my main thing was just that, like, we're open now, we're gonna start doing stuff, but and I'm here representing them, I'm gonna basically try to be here for every meeting. Oh, every meeting. So I just wanna lay that out there, nothing specifically to talk about yet.
So that was the Rotary Club,
Rotaract is what it's called technically.
Rotaract.
Rotaract.
Do you think there's any issues that we should try solving other than the ones we mentioned? Or some topics we should uphold more?
Oh, like Grand Valley can get on all kinds of buses to get to college, but GRCC can only get on bus 60. So maybe if there's like a program, we can work with the Rapid so that you can get from home to actually campus.
It's actually funny you say that. We had a discussion with Dr. Lepper and we were talking about trying to get a more extensive bus coverage system for people on campus. Maybe trying to get the student IDs to cover the greater bus line perhaps. It's all. Unfortunately, that situation is much higher for us, but higher than us. But that issue has been brought up and they're telling us they're working on a resolution, which is exciting.
Yeah, we had that conversation just last week. Yep. So it's still very early, but it's.
Could we try to see if maybe like if the Rapid can like give GRCC like one-time use passes for like emergencies?
I've tried calling them, they won't take my calls anymore, but I use the Rapid, so I. I just asked like, hey, I'm a student, can I ride for free? And they're like, no, and it's like, darn, but hopefully they can work it out. On the upper level and it'll be better.
So what sort of? I was wondering, what sort of like things at all do we have going on the Lakeshore campus as it stands currently?
Yeah, so right now, we had the Lakeshore Zoom meeting, but nobody was there at the moment. So we're trying to make these more accessible to Lakeshore. These town halls and these meetings. We went to Lakeshore over the summer to talk to, was it Student Life or what was it?
Female, she's like short staff, they don't have a student life.
Oh, well, the staff at Lakeshore, just to see how we can connect better with them. So we're in those conversations, and I know they recently elected a new director for Lakeshore. So we're communicating with them. But our big thing right now is actually after our budget confirmation, we have a new Lakeshore position for student government, a Lakeshore representative. There hasn't been much traction yet, but I think it's because it was over the summer. But yeah, we have a whole new position just dedicated for the Lakeshore student.
We want a member of student leadership at Lakeshore or we want a member of the student body at Lakeshore to head up student leadership there.
Yeah.
And we've had that position open since the end of the last semester. And we've had one application so far. Did you apply for that one or the treasurer?
I can't remember
Okay.
exactly. No, it's been an interesting summer. I do live out there, so I would be interested.
Additionally, just to plug that, we're still looking for a treasurer. So if you want to be more involved with student life and student government, or you know of anybody who wants to get more involved in student life or student government, go to Raider Connect and submit an application. It pays, it's a lot of work, but we have a lot of fun doing it. And if you think that somebody you know, or you have what it takes to be a member of student leadership, then we're all for it. We're looking for someone.
And we also recently established an all student email for student government. Not sure if maybe you guys have seen that. And at the end, we're planning on having like resources in which you can click on and it takes you to a potential opportunity. But for right now, I went to a community college retreat over the weekend, and not sure if you guys know about this, but I think starting October 6th or 4th, community college tuition will be free for everyone 21 and older. It's with the Michigan Reconnect. So at first it was 25 or older, or 26, but now they're lowering it to 21. So yeah, the application opens next month. If you already paid for this tuition out of your own money, it can be a Pell Grant, have to be with your own money. You will get reimbursed if you submit that application. Yeah, free college for everyone 21 and older.
I'll be taking advantage of that.
Yeah, it's for the 2023 and 2024 year. It's not permanent, at least not yet, but it's a good step in the right direction for free tuition. Yeah. We'll for sure send that out once we have it open. Well, once the application is open and included in our newsletter, but yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that.
I do have one quick thing that I wanted to put forward to everybody in relation to arts. We are trying to formulate ideas on how to get more student art in that student life office. And we have a couple of organizations who are trying to get things posted up there and get more things advertised and up there. We're trying to brainstorm ideas of how exactly students would want their art portrayed on campus, particularly in that life office. So does anyone have any suggestions on like an order of operations or like a raffle system or a submission system that they would like to see implemented?
Sure, like this, they're doing like a sticker contest for college success center.
Mhm.
Maybe people could like submit their drawings or art, and they could have like a student body vote on which ones to put up.
I like that.
I was gonna say, in regards to a submission system, submitting a piece of art that they, like a style that they want to represent. And then from there, they can just have free reign to like, it's not the style they have to put on, but something that they could still, work off of instead. And then it would basically just be up to the student body to approve whether or not that's, like something we want to see there or we don't want to see.
There's also been talk about implementing some kind of mural on the white back wall. We wanted to see if people were interested in that or if they wanted that to not.
We could just do a giant mural on the athletic center. That'd be really cool.
And the last time I painted a mural was in my apartment. I said, no way out, I'll get kicked out. I was like, right, I'm getting kicked out. Here you go. Here's a whole mural for you.
Yeah, later
They
next
had
month.
everything. I had the whole living room muraled out.
Yeah, later next month, we plan on having a pumpkin art contest for
Yes.
around that Halloween time. I think homecoming week. Yeah, we're planning on having it in the plaza. So yeah, it's a competition. You guys might win something. You guys have the best pumpkin, but yeah, we're just really trying to.
Do you have to like paint the pumpkin or like cut and design in it, or?
I think we're open
Make
to
it open range, yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, carve it, paint it, smash it. Yeah, whatever looks the best.
I'm gonna make it to where it swings over.
Maybe not that, that might be a thing, but
Put a button on it, so I
That's
can.
the safety issues on it.
it sounds really cool.
I would do an office.
Just, within the next couple of town halls, either the next one or the following one, I hope to have a more outlined submission system for student art. Because there are a lot of students who are passionate about that, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around. I know 2 hours is a lot of time, but I appreciate.
It's my birthday and it's Constitution Day. That's awesome.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Normal, so this is normal, like 2 hours.
Every other Monday, noon to 2.
This made my day.
And we do plan on having guest speakers at some. I know for sure we have Dr. Leopard next month during homecoming week.
we're in the conversation with some of the board of trustees, but yeah.
We're going to that one that the woman, the founder's president.
Yeah.
He's supposed to.
Oh, the
become
luncheon?
The luncheon, we're going to that one.
Take some student safety literature and a constitution if you haven't already. I've got way too many of these things. Please.
I'll take it to Founders. I'll take the Founders. Education while you're drinking.
Hey, I just wanted to say, like, I'm sorry that things get involved in.
We totally understand, like,
Yeah.
we're not.
I hope you guys know that it's not like anything personal.
No.
That's right.
Really grateful for that.
It was something that I would